Salty, cheesy, chewy, crusty. Hi, I'm Bruna, and today we're going to be making Pão de Queijo together. Growing up in Brazil, Pão de Queijo was my favorite snack. I would have Pão de Queijo at my friends' houses while I was watching soap operas, while I was studying. So when I moved to the US, I thought, oh my God, how am I going to survive without Pão de Queijo? I did a lot of searches online and I adapted a lot of the different recipes I found, and I have the perfect Pão de Queijo recipe for you today. This recipe will take 20 minutes to put together. It will take about an hour to an hour and a half in the fridge and another 20 minutes in the oven. Number 1, before we get started, you gotta know how to say Pão de Queijo. Let's say one day you go to Brazil, you visit, and you go to a bakery and you say, hey, can I have a pão de queijo? If you say pão de queijo, you're saying dick of cheese, and you don't want to say that. You want to say pão de queijo. Let's practice. Pão de queijo. All right, let's talk ingredients. 4 cups of tapioca flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 6 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 large eggs, 1.25 cups of 2% milk, and half a cup of water. Now, you can see here that I have a lot of different kinds of cheeses. To pick my cheeses, I literally open the fridge and I see what's available there and what will be a good combination. So every week is a little bit different, and I kind of like that. We have a little bit of cheddar. We have part skim mozzarella. We have feta to get a little bit of that funky flavor. And we have Parmesan cheese. No matter what kind of cheeses you're putting into this mix, you have to make sure that you have about 2.5 cups to go into the dough. All right, so I'm gonna get the milk. I'm gonna pour it here because I'm gonna put all of this together and bring it to a boil. Now, the water, the olive oil, don't wanna waste that olive oil, and the salt. So when you boil the liquids, set to medium heat. All right, so next you're gonna pour the tapioca starch into the chickenade. Now, I didn't have a stand mixer for a long time, and they make a big difference when you're making pão de queijo because the dough gets a little tough. So having one of these has been a really big help and made it much easier for me. Whoops. All right, the liquid mixture has reached a boil, and now we're gonna add to our tapioca starch. All right, so you can see that the consistency here is pretty good. I'm going to get the spatula to help me out a little bit before I add the eggs. So the next step is we're gonna crack 2 eggs in here. So this is looking good. And now we're gonna add the cheese. Don't overmix the cheese. Keep it chunky. The final mixture should look something like this. If your mixture looks runny, add more flour. So now we're gonna clean this up. We're gonna cover with saran wrap. We're gonna put it in the fridge and we're gonna wait for an hour. So, all right, we're gonna then get a plate. All right, the oven is already preheating. I set my oven to 425, and that's because I live in Bozeman, Montana, and I'm 5,000 feet above sea level. So when you look at the consistency here, you can see that this is a lot harder than it was before, and that's why that 1 hour is really important. You're gonna need a cup of cold water, about there. We have a tablespoon that's gonna assist you with the size of your cheese balls, and a baking tray. Is this called a tray? Okay, so I'm going to first wet my hands a little bit, and I'm going to use this to get a little wet as well so it doesn't stick onto the metal here. And all right, here it is. My hands are wet. It's like an ice cream scoop of cheese. You roll it, make it pretty, and you have the perfect Pão de Queijo. I forgot to mention, your hands might get a little sticky, but you can always take a break, wash your hands, and come back to rolling more Pão de Queijo. All right, so now it's time to put it in the oven. I like to leave it in the oven for about 20-22 minutes. They're kind of like roasting a marshmallow. Now it's time to wait patiently. It's done! This is so great. Good luck making your own and enjoy.